All day long today. This is going to be great. We're going to educate you people a whole bunch. The next speaker coming up today is Brix Carlisle. He's an amazing activist. He's been doing this for, I don't know, 20 some odd years. Maybe I'll let him tell you. But see what he has to say. He's got a great story and a lot of great insights. Come on up, Brix. Woo! Thank you all. Give it up for Brix Carlisle.
Woo!
Hi everyone, how are we doing today? Wow, we're not really screaming yet. I hope I like that. All right, so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about who I am. If you guys don't know, I do the AAA show, Advocate, Activist, and Afflicted. So basically, A, I'm an afflicted myself. So I got suffering from a cancer. B, I'm an activist. I've been standing up here doing 420 since the 90s. And C, I'm an advocate. I worked in and out of the legal field trying to fight cases for people for free. Got myself thrown out of the Law Society, thrown out of practice because I did that. And I would do that today if I wasn't a disabled guy. But more importantly, I got some words I've written for you guys and I hope you like it. It's not as long as it looks. 8 minutes, 10 seconds. For 100 years, Steve is coming up here. Steve, are you gonna? Thank you. Just checking, right? With the Grandmaster. I'm gonna start again. Thank you, Steve, for your attendance. For 100 years, people, bigotry, discrimination, and the prohibition against our freedom has had its long night. During that night, my fellow afflicted and discriminated brothers and sisters, we've all grown accustomed to this yoke and the weight of this freedom prohibition. Let me be clear. We have no love for Canada, and as such, we have no patriotism. We have no country. Hudson Bay Canada Incorporated, your so-called medical cannabis legalization by way of this Cannabis Act and your Constitution Act, and I'm going to include your Civil Forfeiture Act. I ask you, what do these acts have to do with me or the people that I represent? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in these documents? No. We are not included in your Cannabis Act or your Constitution Act or your Civil Forfeitures Act. The legal blessings which you enjoy today are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of access to legal cannabis embodied in this document is shared by you, not me. This 420 is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, but I must mourn. What to the medical cannabis patient is your 420 celebration? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year that there is a gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty an unholy license, your national greatness swelling vanity, your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless, your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence, your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Today we mark 420, which so many have fought so bravely. Those first freedom fighters, those unrelenting anti-prohibitionists, they bled for this cause. They fought for this cause. Many have died for this cause. And on October 17, 2018, these tyrannical prohibitionists enacted their latest candy-coated facade of reform, the Bill C-45, the so-called Cannabis Act. More than 30 years of my life have been consumed by prohibition against our freedom. I ask you, what is the natural state of mankind? The Crown and the keen minds in Ottawa are happy to tell you that the natural state is prohibition. But I'm here to tell you that the natural state of us is freedom. Is freedom. Let's hear it for freedom. And the proof of that is the length that a man, woman, or child will go to regain that freedom. If it is taken, he will break loose his chains. He will decimate his enemies. He will try and try again against all odds, all prejudices, thank you, all prohibitions. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been eating the bread and drinking this cup of prohibition alongside the most disabled of my brothers and sisters, sharing with them all the painful conditions and sufferings brought about by this medical cannabis prohibition and mental prohibition. In consideration of these facts, I feel I have the right to speak strongly. Yet, my friends, I am bound to speak truthfully. There can be no peace for the tyrant while there is still prohibition of freedom in the land. It will be condemned and there will be considerable agitation. These first freedom fighters were brave people. They were a peaceful group, but they, as we, preferred revolution to the prohibitionist status quo. There is a difference between revolution and the candy-coated facade of gradual reform. Reform is just the prohibitionists teaching us how to be better prohibitioned, better conditioned, better restricted, better reformed. Under reform, you can take the tyrant right out of the picture, and the commoners are still working as handmaidens for them. There's a man called a capitalist. It doesn't matter what color he is. Black, white, brown, red, or green, it does not matter. Because the capitalist has only one goal in mind, and that is to exploit the people. Yes, the people. Alone we are weak, vulnerable, easy prey for tyrants. But together we have power. The power of the people. All power to the people. I ask you, how do we define politics? What is war against freedom? War is politics with bloodshed, and politics is war without bloodshed. I will repeat that. War is politics with bloodshed, and politics is war without bloodshed. My fellow freedom fighters, I ask you, are we at war with the prohibitionists? And what does that mean? It means that every time a licensed garden gets raided, every time the CSU shut down or fines another dispensary, it's because of JT. He who sits atop this stinking pig pile of prohibition, Mr. Justin Trudeau. So how do we win this war? Guns, grenades, rocket launchers? No, the people. There's strength in numbers. Power anywhere there's people. And if we're going to bring down the prohibition of our freedom, it's going to take every one of us working together. From Frederick Douglass to Fred Hampton, all the way to Freddie Mercury. From the time of Sacagawea to Sitting Bull to St. Louis Riel. Freedom fighters, them all. Their legacy and great ancestry demands we continue this fight. Get off the fence. The time for freedom is now. Hope will guide you. Thank you.
Thanks, Brix. Really wise words there for sure. We got another one. Rosie or